Have you ever wanted to add something to Minecraft? Well, as it turns out, a lot of the updates we've got over the past few years have been in part due to players requesting them from Mojang. There exists an official Minecraft website where players can create suggestions for future updates or changes they want to see. Developers can comment on them, and players can vote for them. Some of the most game-changing Minecraft updates have come from this site, but what else is hiding here that is yet to make it to the game? What are Minecraft's most wanted updates and features, and will Mojang add them in the future? First, we'll talk about suggestions which Mojang developers have seen and have confirmed to be under review or in internal discussion, potentially coming to the game in the future from least to most popular. With 2,393 votes, a user suggested in mid-2018 that grappling ropes crafted with 2-string and an iron pick should be added to the game. These would be cheap, expendable items like a better version of Ender Pearls, would only have 20 uses, and could only go up 16 blocks with a 2-second cooldown. The suggestion was marked under review, and I personally would love to see all the exploits that we could do with this if it were added. The Red Dragon is a suggestion which not only is popular, but has a long history of being planned by Notch, shelved, seemingly planned again by Dinnerbone, and then ultimately shelved for 10 years. A player would make a suggestion that achieved over 2,300 votes, mentioning adding the Red Dragon but in a more modern format with only 3 spawning in a Minecraft world, in rare castle-like structures in huge caves. In order to tame the dragon, you have to feed it the dragon egg, and if you attacked it, it would fly away. Now, a developer did comment that they believe the red dragon in its suggested state would be too OP, and as such, it seems the red dragon will remain shelved for the time being. A set biome command suggestion received 3,100 votes, which basically would allow players to change a biome to another one. World Edit has this command and it's extremely useful. I changed my base with it, which had the dull green extreme hills grass color, to a nice vibrant jungle green, and I think this command would be a great addition to the game. And on the topic of biome-related suggestions, a new biome was suggested back in 2018, the Magic Forest. These would be like Twilight Forest, containing giant trees, mushroom houses, flowers, and a new mob, the Fairy, as well as secret chests with items. While popular and marked under review, as commenters pointed out, it doesn't really fit the theme of vanilla Minecraft. Rain and weather in Minecraft is boring and annoying. Most of us just turn it off or disable it entirely. But what if storms were more dynamic and interesting? With over 4,000 votes, sandstorms seem like a cool and fitting idea, darkening the sky, lowering visibility, with sand falling similar to how snow does. If we ever get that promised desert update from years ago now, I could see this fitting perfectly into the game. 2013 clickbait Minecraft YouTubers would have loved this, and this suggestion is probably a bit dated now, but emerald armor and weapons were once a popular idea, with this suggestion getting over 4,400 votes, but likely won't ever come to fruition as we have netherite now instead. Monkeys in the jungle, hey why not? 4,674 other people seem to agree that jungles simply aren't complete without monkeys, which should spawn high up in the trees and could even give you items or lead you to jungle temples. Now, jump boost is kind of annoying. It makes it slower to sprint jump and can make maneuvering tight locations slightly more frustrating, so a double jump enchantment for boots would be a nice compromise, and I could see it being extremely versatile. Dogs are kind of useless in Minecraft survival. You could bring them around with you, but they have a high chance of dying, so often you'll just leave them sitting at your base while you continue your adventures. Well, with 5,359 votes, dog beds are the perfect solution, allowing dogs a place to sleep at night and a location to respawn if they die. Minecraft nights have always lacked some ambience. Shooting stars would be a great addition to the night sky, and these actually were in the Tiger Biome update video, meaning they may actually come to the game sometime in the future. With 6,313 votes, players suggested that you should all subscribe to the Mr. Epic. As outlined in the official comment here, this is something people have been trying to do for a while now, but every time, a large percentage of viewers seem to be unable to click that subscribe button, but it should be patched now. Why don't you try it? No pressure. Anyways, Diable Elytra were a popular but simple suggestion, simply taken into consideration by developers. We have yet to see such an addition, however, potentially due to clashes between dyed elytras and elytras with cape textures. Now, like the red dragons, years ago Notch also hinted at a sky dimension being added to the game. Ever since we got the Nether, the hell or underground dimension, players have been wondering if we'll ever get a sky or heaven dimension. Mods like the Aether were of course extremely popular, which has led people to still want to see a sky dimension or Skylands addition to the game almost 12 years later. As suggested here, with 6,100 votes, you could access the sky dimension by mining a new ore and creating blocks out of that ore for the portal. The Sky Dimension would have its own boss, items, mobs, blocks, and more. Strangely familiar. Another popular mob suggestion was to add owls, tameable mobs which can sit on your shoulder, and even deliver signed books to players. Can't wait to see what dupe exploits this would have. With 10,728 votes, earlier this year in March, a player suggested Minecraft Expert Mode. This would not be an additional difficulty, however, but a separate toggle in the world creation screen, like Hardcore Mode. In general, they suggested that mobs' AI and pathfinding be improved so mobs could move like players, see through certain blocks, able to sprint, and move in more intelligent ways. The suggestion also mentions giving mobs in expert mode unique abilities, such as the creeper which could light his fuse and sprint at a player, skeletons using blocks or other mobs for cover, zombies tackling or grabbing players, spiders walking on ceilings, and drown trying to drown players. This suggestion was also officially acknowledged as being a popular post, but I can't see it being added in the future as it does break away from vanilla quite a bit. Back in 2018, just after 1.13, the aquatic update released, a player suggested that a jellyfish mob should be added to the game. Jellyfish would deal minor damage to players, could glow in the dark, and would swim in clusters. The player created some concept art stating that the jellyfish would come in different colors, maybe based on rarity like pink sheep, and different varieties. The suggestion was well received, gaining over 12,000 votes, and an official Mojang developer would comment on the post, alluding to the fact that this idea was discussed amongst the team. That being said, 5 years later now, and it seems that there are no current plans for a jellyfish mob. 19,183 people thought that seasons for most biomes would be a good idea, where tree and grass color would change and crop or foliage growth would differ as well. Dinnerbone has discussed something like this in the past, and Bedrock Edition sort of has this with snow-related biomes, but we have yet to see anything like seasons on Minecraft Java. In 1.14, we got a variety of new stairs, slabs, and walls. But as pointed out in this suggestion, concrete and terracotta were missing their versions of slabs, stairs, and walls, and honestly I think this is the most likely suggestion that will be added to the game of any we've talked about so far. Here's the strangest suggestion so far. With over 25,000 votes, a player suggested making the game available on the Oculus Quest, which is a VR headset. Official comment from September 2019 mentioned that Java will not be compatible with it, but Bedrock compatibility may be considered in the future. Since then, I'm not too sure if it's been officially made compatible, but there do seem to be ways to play it on the Oculus Quest 2. Top 3 most popular reviewed suggestions now. Third on the list with over 32,000 votes are backpacks. Now ultimately, just adding an additional storage item won't solve anything, but being able to seamlessly move items from one inventory to another without having to place a block down like a shulker would be very useful. With 35,813 votes, the second most popular under review suggestion is bedsheets with banner designs. It's a small but cool feature that allows players additional customization and control over their base, and I think would be a great addition to the game. And finally, with 41,769 votes, fruit trees and bushes are the most popular considered suggestion by Mojang. Since this suggestion, sweet berries were added to the game, and I would not be surprised in the slightest if we continued getting berry or fruit themed plants and trees in the future. Now, while all the suggestions we've talked about have merely been considered or acknowledged by Mojang, let's talk about some which were announced to be coming to the game or have actually been added to the game since. And unfortunately, not all of these suggestions have turned out to be good. All Mojang Games in Launcher has 845 votes and seems like a good idea, but unfortunately it led to my Minecraft Bedrock not working for a week, thanks to this guy on Twitter who solved it, as well as these terrible Windows icons. Highly inappropriate people ruining the fun for kids. Serious, a fuming parent wrote, and if you couldn't tell already, this is a very serious suggestion. Basically, some parent is just upset that some swear words were built in game. That's right, not written, but built. They wanted to see a way to report players, and lo and behold, 4 years later, we would get Minecraft chat reporting. Now, in all fairness, this suggestion may not have been the reason we got chat reporting, as it's still marked announced rather than released, but it's interesting how this idea sounded somewhat fine on paper, but with Mojang's unclear communication surrounding its addition to the game in 2022, created an abundance of drama. Regardless, my suggestion to you, Mr. or Mrs. Parent, is to do your parenting properly and play in environments or servers where you have full control, rather than taking away Roblox from your computers. What kind of childhood will your child have now without Roblox? You just know that the kid spent $159.99 on Robux and is now banned from ever playing it again. Anyways, back to the good suggestions. 1,871 people thought that allowing chests and hopper minecars to ride in boats would be a cool way of adding storage to them, and this was basically added to the game as chest boats in 1.19. Prickly versions of cacti with these edible flowers were suggested in 2018, and since are announced to be coming with the Badlands biome updates. whenever that's supposed to happen. Likewise, another suggestion with similar popularity suggested adding new desert mobs like vultures and zombie vultures, which were also announced to be coming with the Badlands biome update. In 2019, a player suggested adding frogs and tadpoles to swamp biomes that can hop onto and land on lily pads. The frogs would poison players who hit them with fists but not weapons, and dropped frog legs that could be used as another way to get leaping potions. We would get frogs 3 years later in 1.19, although not nearly as in depth as was outlined here. Seems like all 1.19 content was suggested here, as with 3,908 votes, mangrove forests that exist over water and contain mangrove trees and mud were suggested. While they would not contain mangrove crabs and eagles or ancient pyramids when added to the game in 1.19, they were still quite similar to what was described by the player here. In mid-2018, a player suggested adding cherry blossom groves to the game. This suggestion was popular, getting over 6,000 votes, and as alluded to in the official comment, it seems Mojang may have actually got this idea directly from this suggestion. This is similar to another suggestion with 22,913 votes to simply add goats, which would be added to the game later as well. Now, here's my personal favorite suggestion that got added. With 28,268 votes, a user outlined in this slightly strangely written post that a biome location command should be added to the game. Basically, a command allowing you to find and teleport to specific biomes in your world. I use this all the time for clips in my videos, so thank you anonymous player for getting this added. Another promised biome vote suggestion is the baobab tree. With over 33,000 votes, this player suggested that if you plant acacia saplings in a 2x2, it should create a larger variant of the acacia tree, known as the baobab tree. This was promised to come to the game in the Savannah biome update, which was included in the 2018 biome vote, but alas 5 years later, and there is no sign we will ever see its addition to the game. That same biome vote also promised that the meerkat would be included in the desert biome update, which unsurprisingly was also a very popular suggestion from earlier that same year. However, like the Savannah update and baobab tree, we don't know when the desert update and meerkat will be coming to the game. And hilariously, the second most popular confirmed suggestion are ostriches, which once again were included in the 2018 biome vote. Seems like Mojang took a lot of inspiration from the feedback website that year. That being said, with over 41,000 votes, we have yet to see the ostrich added to the game. And finally, the most popular suggestion on the Minecraft feedback website by far, now with over 100,000 votes, first submitted back in 2018, is the Caves update. This post suggested cave biomes with different types of caves depending on the biome, stalagmite and stalactite, more mushrooms and more mob spawning. It seems developers paid a lot of attention to this suggestion, and ultimately we would receive the famous cave update a few years after this post. Comment below which suggestion you think will be added to the game next. Be sure to subscribe and join my Discord. Thank you all so much for watching.